Hey guys, it's been a while, but we're going to do a quick Homestead tools, and we're going to talk about hand drills. These things, many people kind of say they're antiquated and not really worth anything anymore. I beg to differ. I still think hand drills are very important and very useful, and they can be, a big saver if, you have a battery go dead or a tool crap out on you. So we're going to go over the different kinds and what they're used for. This here is what's called a hand brace. This is a hand powered drill. It's pretty self-explanatory. One hand goes here, the other hand spins this, and that does the drilling. These things come in varying different complexities. The older ones pretty much don't have many features at all to them, up to these more modern ones that have reversible and ratcheting chucks on them. Typically they're going to have this style of chuck that's going to require you to use these square taper bits. And you can get these in the twist bits or the auger bits. They make them all different kind of stuff for them. These are really cool in that they're really easy to restore. I did just kind of a quick functional restoration on this one. Cleaned up the metal, refinished the wood, lubed and got the chuck and the ratcheting mechanism going really good. And these are great for drilling large holes. Very good with auger, the big long auger bits. They can make really big 1-inch holes relatively quickly too, especially if you sharpen and take care of the bits. Very handy tools, very good for when you're in a bind. If you do, sometimes guys, let's be honest, you pull out your cordless drill and it just doesn't have enough juice. You got to get the job done. There's not an extension cord around. Bam, this can drill a 1-inch, 1.5-inch hole through really, really hard wood. Very useful tool. Throw that out of the way. Next are hand drills or egg beater drills. Let me get this off the table here. Whoops, and I'm dropping stuff everywhere. Alright, these things are once again in varying complexities depending on when they were made, who made them. They can be single speed or 2-speed. They're usually just a little hand operated. Do we really need a demonstration? Just put the drill bit in, spin the wheel. These use traditional modern twist drill bits, so you don't need the special hex shank on these at all. These are also really easy to restore. You can just literally unscrew them, take the chuck off. If you want to refinish the wood, clean the metal, lube, really good. These are excellent for small holes, pilot holes, things like that. You can't really use the big auger bits in them. You can't use things like that. But as far as doing small, normal holes for framing and things like that, really good for pilot holes. You can have one of these ready with a bit, throw it in your tool bag, and if your drill craps out on you, you could do a, it's not as fast as a cordless drill, let's be honest, but you can still knock out a lot of these in a quick amount of time. These are also really good for kids. Say you are doing something, rebuilding your deck, building a chicken coop, something like that. You can have your kid go in front of you and drill the holes in front of you, and you can follow up behind them with the impact driver. So these are a great way to get kids involved as well, because they are relatively safe, easy to use, and you really can't screw them up. So like I said, these things come from really, really cheap to really, really awesome, really heavy, really light, plastic, steel, all different kinds, shapes, and types. We have the Big Mama Jamma. This is a brush drill. These are gigantic. They're big, they're heavy. They usually have either kind of a big D handle or a breastplate on the back. These are meant for heavy duty drilling. They're meant for big holes. They're meant for a lot of pressure. You're meant to be able to push these up using your body weight to drill. These are meant for serious drilling. These also will use the square taper drill bits, whether it's auger or whatever. It will use both. Many of these are 2-speed. Some of them are pretty ornate. These are a lost thing from a forgotten time, so you can get them in pretty ornate. You can see here this one's got a very nice metal handle to it. The D-ring's got that Japanning on it. Very nice, heavy duty. This was green and gold at some point, so when I restore it, I'm going to try and get it back to that original color. You can see you got the 2-speed gears on this. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Some of them have ball bearings and roller balls. These things are really cool, and these are great for heavy duty stuff. You know, especially this one's really handy if you're drilling down at your feet. Maybe you're trying to drill holes through something, you're doing some timber framing, something like that. Having this to, you know, drill some big 1-inch holes to pound dowels into, really good because you get a lot of leverage on this because it's a big wheel. The weight pushing down does a lot of the work for you. You can really, I mean, these things drill in a hurry. You can drill a good, you know, 1/2 inch or 1-inch hole in pretty quick time. And once again, these are tools that don't bog down. Having a cordless drill trying to do the work this can, it's no comparison. Sure, it's not as fast, but when it comes to sheer power, this will always be more powerful than a cordless drill. Next is the Yankee driver. These things are, depending on what kind, what type, they can be a screwdriver, they can be a drill, they can be both. It really depends on which brand, when it was made, all that jazz. A lot of them come with the bits in the rear end. Some are reversible, some are not. They're relatively easy to clean up. They're easy to use, they're fun. Once again, it's something you can hand off to your kids. The good thing about them is that they're small, light. You can stick them in your pocket for doing quick pilot holes, or maybe you need to unscrew something. Bad news is they are kind of antiquated. It's really difficult to get Phillips bits for them. And the bits themselves are special to them. So finding replacement bits is very difficult. But in the end, if you do have some small little drilling bits for these, they can make a very handy thing if you just need a quick pilot hole on the run. Like I said, you can stuff these in your toolbox or whatever and always have one in case of an emergency. Also very handy if you have really long screws, because you do have that ratcheting motion and you can just go all day. It can really make short work of really long screws. And once again, if you are interested and you really, you know, kind of are crafty, you can find all kinds of adapters for these, and some people do hook up sockets to them. You know, some of them do the hex shank adapter, so you can use a little modern Phillips bits and all that. So there's a lot of creativity you can do to make these things more relevant to modern society. I typically just use them for the little drill bits that they come with, and use them for quick pilot holes when I don't feel like dragging out an extension cord or finding batteries or waiting for batteries to charge. These things are pretty handy. So there you go, guys. Those are your hand drills, your 4 major types. Of course, there's other ones out there, but these are the 4 that you're primarily going to run into. They're the most useful, and what you're going to get the most bang for your buck. You can get them cheap, yard sales, garage sales, flea markets. Do your own quick restorations on them and have a really good heirloom quality tool.